Hi, I'm Ben Creighton Griffiths, international jazz harpist, and this is just a short interview about my jazz projects and what I've got currently going on with this side of my work. My first experience with jazz was a long time ago when I heard a jazz pianist playing in a restaurant in Cardiff. The piano player was Julian Martin, and he's been giving me lessons ever since. I have an awful lot of influences with the jazz harp. Firstly, from the harp side of things, there's some fantastic players, people like Park Stickney, Deborah Henson-Conant, and also Jacques Francois, to name just a few. Outside of the harp world, I have a number of influences. Within traditional jazz mediums, there's some great names, people like Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, just to name a few. And then also with the electronic music and the fusion and the funk, I really enjoyed the works of Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, and then lots of up-and-coming musicians and groups like Snarky Puppy, Fork, and many others like that. Playing jazz on the harp is very different from the classical music on the harp. Obviously it wasn't designed with that in mind, and you have to think in a very different way when you're doing the jazz. For example, the harp isn't designed to be as chromatic an instrument as things like the piano or saxophone. So it is very difficult, and you have to think of a lot of ways to work around things that a pianist might not have to think about. I've been putting jazz pieces in my programs for many years, even at my classical recitals that I've done at many very high-profile harp festivals and events around the world. But it's only recently, in the last year or so, where I've done exclusively jazz concerts, and the reception to that has been really good. So kiss me and say you understand. Of trying to get the harp into the jazz world, there's getting jazz into the harp world. Some harpists aren't so fond of it, but actually I've had a very good response with people enjoying that I'm doing something very different, and with people who maybe don't like it that much but can appreciate that it is just another form of art and one that can be enjoyed by all. And also at a lot of these events I've been doing lots of teaching and workshops, and that's gone really well, and I very enjoy doing that. Working with other musicians is great. As I said, the harp isn't designed for jazz, and not that many musicians might think of it as a jazz instrument, so often you get a lot of raised eyebrows when you are talking to another jazz musician saying, "Oh, I play the harp and that I do jazz on it." But it tends to fit in very well. I mean, it works incredibly well in many different areas. It can act a bit like a piano in an acoustic trio, or it can be in a much larger group. It can act as a soloing instrument like a horn, or it can be a bit like a guitar, and even like a bass. And then with other types of jazz, things like fusion and funk, an electric harp can be used to do all sorts of very interesting sounds. I've just been in the studio recording my forthcoming album, Pedals and Paws, and it's been great fun, a really good experience. I like recording, and the process of recording and mixing albums is very interesting, and I think artists should be as involved with that as they can be. Sometimes you don't get to see the production side of it, and I think it's really important to understand what goes into it so you can create a better album in the end of it if you're able to work with the sound engineer and the mixing engineer and things like that. The new album, Pedals and Paws, firstly features a self-titled suite, and that is Pedals and Paws, which is a suite that I wrote about my dog. And then the other tracks on that album are a mixture of well-known jazz standards from all different styles. There's some bossa nova, some funk, some traditional swing. And there's also a few extra tracks at the end, which are duet tracks with a friend of mine, Matt Williams, who plays percussion on those. Please check out all the videos on my YouTube channel, subscribe if you'd like, and share anything that you enjoy. Keep an eye out for my new album, Pedals and Paws, that will be out in the forthcoming months. And also details of any further projects, any further concerts can be found on my website, www.bjcg.co.uk. I'm also on Facebook, and I always update with information of things I'm doing.